be tough on weeknights. I know it is for me with kids. So I just appreciate you being here. Appreciate all of you being SiteQs. And first off, gonna throw it to Moose Jaw just to give us a kind of a first up vision for the next year.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. That's if you can hear me.
Yep.
This would be less cool if you couldn't and just sat here and talked for 5 minutes. It'd be just like work, really. Anyways, so one of the things that I think we can all acknowledge is that the last 16 months has been pretty unusual on the planet and in our region, as we all learn to respond to the global pandemic. And so as SiteQs, I think we could use this to springboard, being aware that many men and families were had been slowed down and had limited social activity. So as things change and the world isn't going to go back to normal per se very quickly, and things are going to go waver here and there, but to lead and to invite others who have been reevaluating their where they are in the world, what they want to be. I think we actually have a pretty huge opportunity to invite people who might never have, 2 years ago, thought that this is what they need. But with the limited social interactions, I think that probably allows you to go, hey, I really do need maybe a little bit more fitness, maybe a lot more fellowship, and to be more outwardly focused. So there's sort of this opportunity within Puget Sound that we're thinking about, that if starting with you as SiteQs, that you guys could invigorate the region. And so that's where we really wanted to start some of this is, hey, this is a springboard to the next phase. And with you, it'll certainly be a lot better. So that's where I wanted to kick it off from that side, and then hand it back over to my good buddy Softball.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Moose Jaw. We definitely have a really big opportunity here to seize some of the momentum we've gained over the last year, picking up a lot of guys that are feeling isolated and don't have guy friends that they can really rely on. So I really think we have an opportunity here, trying to get as many men as we can engaged in F3. So first off, I just want to go through just reviewing the role of a SiteQ. Many of you have probably become SiteQs, getting it passed on from somebody else, and they'll tell you what they think a SiteQ is being. So there's a lot of ideas out there, but I never really found the document or put it down on a document. So I made an attempt at doing that, and I'll share that in the agenda that we're reviewing here with you guys later. And as well, we're recording this too, so we'll share the recording also. So you guys are the most important people in F3 as SiteQ. You really are the face of F3. You're the primary ones who have the most control over what experience someone has when they come to an F3 workout. So first off, thank you for stepping up and doing that. And second of all, just realize what an opportunity each one of you have to impact other men, impact your communities. Really is the most important role. So obviously there's a few basic things that we all know that a SiteQ needs to be in charge of, making sure there's a queue each week, obviously. If you're doing it right, hopefully that rarely is you. You don't want to be the queue every week or every other week. We really want to be getting guys opportunities to step up and lead, whether they're FNGs or they haven't queued in a while. So always be reaching out to guys you haven't seen queued in a while, either at your site or elsewhere. And then the second big part of that, or a kind of obvious one, is welcoming FNGs and ensuring they get signed up to Slack and to our network through f3newguy.com. So that's another big part of being a SiteQ. Kind of the obvious ones, but there's really a lot more to it than that. One would be, I've seen SiteQs give the queue for that day immediate feedback on strengths and weaknesses of their workout. You know, just giving them that candor to allow them to grow and lead and do better at their next queue. You know, because we don't really know what our blind spots are. We need each other to be able to point those out so we can become better each time. Also making sure that packs at your site know how to sign up for a queue by themselves through TeamUp, either on the app, on their smartphone, or on the website are the two ways to do that. So yeah, just making sure you're educating your pack so they can be free to lead themselves to sign up for queues. So if you're, I know that some site queues will have like a running text thread, or you put a list out of the next month or 2 months, getting people to commit for those queues. They are the ones who really should be going up and signing up their name through TeamUp. If you're doing all of that, that's good, but you might be doing a little too much there. So just encourage you to help them learn how to sign up for their own. And then you might be surprised. You might show up, you might look on TeamUp one day and people are signing up to queue your site without any input from you. So let's see. So also setting the tone and culture of your AO. So in my mind, as a SiteQ, I would think your goal would be to have the packs be proud to call your AO their home AO, so to speak. So it's really up to you. Just like queuing, being a SiteQ, everybody has their own different flavor, talent, and things that they want to see done at that site, and that of course is encouraged. So just keep that in mind. Also, if you don't have a backup SiteQ, this one's really important. Make sure you identify that person as soon as possible. Preferably, this is somebody who hasn't been a SiteQ before. And the idea here being that you want to find your replacement, identify your replacement as quickly as possible. Bring that person in as your backup SiteQ and involve them in the process and what it means to be a SiteQ, so that eventually you can pass off that shovel flag to them. I'm just going to pause here real quick. Going back to setting the tone and culture of your AO, I just want to open it up and not be just me blabbering on. But does anybody want to share any, unique things or ideas you've done at your AOs to try to set a different tone or culture there?
It's I join it. I'm not a SiteQ.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, something we did at Doom on Saturdays is our cafeteria was kind of, just over the place, and with COVID and restrictions and sitting in one spot. I don't know if it was Grissom or Silo or both of them or what, but we said, hey, let's bring coffee to the site. And it actually, what it did is actually kept a few people there that normally don't go for coffee. Kind of brought them there, and it was actually kind of cool. I think it definitely brought some people that were generally ate and skate kind of, right at 8 o'clock and they leave, stuck around. So it was pretty cool. And I think some of those people actually now stick around for coffee a little more. So just some simple action like that kind of spawned a different kind of attitude.
Yeah, I'll throw out, I think Tender Speed's kind of an extreme example, but specializing the AO has helped to make it kind of build a culture. And we just focus hard on running and legs and really making it a tough workout.
My
One
question
thing
is,
I've tried to do. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Esther. Go for it.
Yeah, one thing I've tried to do is in the end of the workout, try to say something about yourself with the words of wisdom that are going to be something personal, and something maybe detrimental. So not tooting your own horn, not just doing a quote from somebody else, but actually kind of talking about yourself. So that's been a little bit of the feedback I've given to guys that have queued, and something I'm trying to model myself.
Ferrari, did you have something?
Well, it wasn't specifically about that. What I was looking at is trying how to get the on the team up the queues signed up. Is there a way that that's done? You said a couple months in advance would be ideal. Is there a way on team up to just show that AO and who the queues are, so we can, or is that just like you said, done in a text, and then you flip it over and have to scroll through, many weeks ahead to the queues to get people signed up there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have not found a way to narrow it down to show you one AO. I just scroll through them all, look for my day of the week, and then go in and like that. Unless anybody else has some trick they found out.
So there's a filter. If you pull the little sandwich menu thing, it'll show you all the sites. You can deselect the parts of them. Like there's the one I use is First F Events Woodinville. So it shows both Tundra and the Gateway. And so that's the way I filter it. So those are the only ones I see on Team Up.
Oh,
So it's pretty easy then to filter those out that you don't need to see at the moment.
okay.
Is that the calendar app, or is that the
That's the Team
queue
Up.
sign up web?
on team up here.
It's the Team Up app.
Okay. Yep.
And I like the list view mostly, but it also has like you can say by day or week or something like that.
Nice. And if you don't have the Team Up app on your smartphone, that's free. You can download it. If you've never set that up, we'll share the calendar URL route that you can add that calendar to Team Up for all of the First F events for Puget Sound. You can just plug that in, and you should see them all.
So looking on it on the website rather than the app, because I have not downloaded the app up to this point because I check it when I need to. It looks like there's 3 filters under that First F: Grasslawn, Mohi, and Woodinville. So they were obviously created. Is that something that's got back-end access? And is that something that if we create filters for every AO and or Seattle, Puget Sound, or more specific areas, Woodinville, Kirkland, Bellevue, is that something that can get built out on the back end, or is that something that we can build out as a SiteQ for our spaces? Any idea? You may not know.
I didn't even know those were there. Yeah, good catch.
I found
I honestly I didn't until now. So
yeah, I just said that it's got those down, and I can't sort it by day except for what today is. So, and I did a search of blood sport, and it doesn't pull anything up in a filter like that. So I'm not sure if I'm messing something up.
softball on the website. That's the double arrow on the top left corner is what pops that out. I never clicked on it before, but
I see. Okay. Yeah. I mean, obviously someone did it at some point, so there's got to be a way to customize it. So yeah, we'll look into that and see.
I think that when Dig Dug was CommsQ, he was playing around to when somebody signed up for Q that it would go into the channel. That's why you see some channels like Grasslawn and a few others. When somebody signs up, it'll populate in the channel. But I think I don't remember why he stopped doing it, if it was too cumbersome or what. But that sounds like the ones that he tried, but I'm not sure.
and you make a good point, because I know Mohi has that set up. That's the only one I know on the west side of the lake that when someone signs up, it sends a message to that channel.
I believe I made a note here to check.
Yeah.
I guess it must have been set up before my time, but I'm playing with it now, and it only has, like, it shows you that on the website it says you can only have 8 calendars. So I think it looks like we're already at the max.
That might have been one of the reasons for the free version that you run into a limit.
Okay.
But you can still just sign up.
Yeah, and you can still filter by keyword, and you can share that filtered view. I think that's probably pretty good already.
Yeah, I mean, but you don't even, I mean, it's not that hard to scroll through either. There's only 52 weeks in a year, so.
But there's what, 50 AOs each week, and so you're going and scrolling on the when you do the app. So I'm trying to find a way to, as a queue, to simplify things, and so I can pull it up at the AO, like tomorrow morning, and say, hey guys, who wants to take next week and the next week and the next week, especially knowing there's several of those I'm not going to be here. I want to make sure people teed up for that. So it's all right. I'll figure it out.
I'll check with comms and see if we can potentially make a filter for each. I don't know if you guys know a lot of the AOs. Most of the AOs, if not all, have their own webpage on Puget Sound website. So I'll see if I can get it to filter just for that.
Right on.
Yeah, Doom Wednesday is that at the end of the workout, you just plank until you get a sign up for the next week. So that's also a way. We're a little ad hoc, but you can come up with some fun stuff like that too.
That was good. That was the first time I had seen that, and that worked really well. It was very effective. All right. Thanks for sharing, guys. There's still got a lot to get through, so I'm going to move on. Some other responsibilities of being a SiteQ that we wanted to get down here and share. You know, making sure the 6 is never left behind in a workout. That one's kind of obvious. Outside of the workout, also, you know, making sure the 6 is not getting left behind. So reaching out to men who have not posted in a while. If you notice, oh, hey, where's so-and-so? They haven't been here in a month or whatever. Do what you can to encourage them to get back out of the gloom, or encourage those who know that person to reach back out to them, try to get them back out. Let's see. So ensuring that the PACs know F3's mission and the 5 core principles. Those are always good to review during a workout, possibly in plank as well. Good time to go over those. Instead of a 10 count, going over the 5 core principles is an easy way to knock that out. So encouraging men to lead inside the workout and outside of it. So if you want to build in something that gives men a chance to lead one exercise or something as part of a warm-up or something, almost like a mini little Q school built into your site. Again, that could be part of your culture. Last couple things are successful AOs last because they're composed of PACs that are in that local community. So make sure your AO, Brady brought this up, it's a really great point at Gateway a couple weeks ago. You just want to make sure that the AOs are growing with FNGs to sustain it long term. You want to make sure that your AO is not just another place for existing PACs to go work out in an alternate location. So that should be one of your greatest goals as a SiteQ, to get as many new people there, as many new people coming back, sticking and staying, and being the next core group of members for that group to carry that flag forward. This one came up too. Dilfer brought up a good point here. So confirming that someone at the workout has a cell phone on them during the workout in case of emergency might be a good thing just to throw out there. And you say, hey, it's 5:30 and somebody got a cell phone on them, you know, just in case. You never know what's going to come up, and being able to quickly call in case of an emergency if something does happen is probably a really good idea. And also making sure that your queue posts a timely backblast in the proper format for PaxMiner. That is a big one. That's a new thing with PaxMiner, and for that I'm going to hand it over to Glaze to share some more information there on PaxMiner.
Yeah, I think you guys have all probably heard the pitch on PaxMiner, but essentially we're using this PaxMiner tool to scrape backblasts and store information about who's queuing and who's attending among some other details. But those are the two kind of most important things. With a goal of with several goals. First is just kind of better understand what packs are doing in a region. Simple questions answer simple questions like, how many active packs do we have? How many guys are actually attending workouts? And who's going to what work, how well attended are the different workouts? And specifically, a couple things we are trying to understand better and actually act upon is one is the flow of FNGs into F3. Try and track them from that F3 new guy into workouts and kind of see what's actually happening to them. And then also trying to identify the codders, especially the guys who might go to 5 different workouts. And it's not really clear when they drop off. It might take us months to notice that hey, some guy hasn't shown up. So one of the things we hope to do with Pax Miners, we've got a little more data built up.
46.
What's up?
Sorry, didn't realize I was off mute. The 400 men's hurdles was going on. 2 guys set world records.
Got it. Good. Yeah, basically being able to analyze and figure out when guys have dropped off. Maybe they were showing up regularly, and then for the last month they didn't. And on top of that, basically look at what AOs they've been attending and identify the specific, maybe the AO they've gone to the most frequently in their time, and reach out to that SiteQ and say, hey, this guy fell off. Looks like he was part of your AO. Can you kind of reach out to him? I did put together an info sheet. I'll just go ahead and paste it again here. It's a page and a half, 2 pages that just kind of explains what Pax Miner is, where the code is, what data we're storing, and how we're using it. So feel free to look at that and disseminate. Cool. Any questions?
I have one question, one comment.
Yeah.
Comments fast, which is in case I mentioned this in the admin SiteQ channel before. It's I actually found it to be pretty useful, but it posts a summary each month to use that to cross-reference to make sure all your backblasts actually got recorded. Because you'll see that it said, hey, there's 5 beatdowns for this AO, and then you can see where there are actually 5 this month. And if you didn't have that, then you'll know that one of your backblasts got lost. So
yeah, and on that note, real quick, there should be some automated detection in the near future. So I'm looking at the Pax Miner database and trying to write some specialized tools for us. And that's one of the things we want to identify is hey, we haven't seen a backblast from this channel. It's been 4 days. There should have been one.
Nice.
Let's do something.
The question I had was just if there's a way for people to get access to the data to better understand what's happening in their AO. For example, you mentioned, we talk about expansion and stuff. I'm curious, how many FNGs, have posted over the last month. Basically, is the AO expanding? Is it shrinking? Kind of how are we doing, numbers wise as an AO?
Yeah. So there's 2 levels to that. The first is there's actually the raw database. If you want to really look at the raw numbers, it's a SQL database, not real friendly if you're not familiar with it. And then the second thing I'm building right now is basically a database scraper that spits out Google Sheets that summarizes data for us. That's partially done, partially working, but give me a little bit longer and I'll publish that for you.
Good, awesome. Yeah, maybe I'll probably reach out to you on Slack.
Yeah, and if you have specific requests for what you want to see in that information, let me know and I can try and work it in.
Sure, awesome, thanks.
Yeah, Glaze, I think that's great. I was, whenever we were going through our Redwood period, trying to track that info, just knowing kind of start up the AO, who's coming, making sure I'm tracking it for Redwood, but then also how many FNGs are they coming back? So I think with Pax Miner being able to, find that information easy would be nice.
Yep.
Going back to a not as technical as Pax Miner, but how does one update the things on, I just, my thing is the Free to Bleed, and I'm on the Puget Sound website, Free to Bleed, and it has very dated stuff. It's yeah, we're gonna donate blood in February. Well, we're in August. We're planning for the September draw. So
that's a great question for Ari. Roma right now has kind of taken on himself to do a big refresh on the website. He did at the beginning of the year. You can kind of tell when he did it because of saying it Free to Bleed was going to be in February. Mm-hmm. One of the things that you could do is, WordPress is a really simple thing. It's pretty easy to teach. If you do have before we didn't have any pages for any programs at all. One thing you could do is we can connect with Roma and myself, whoever, and we could show you how to be able to update that if you wanted to, whenever you want. It's just like, it's very similar just to kind of a word processor type interface. You can get into the code, but you don't have to. You can just, what you see is what you get. It's called WYSIWYG, and it's pretty easy to edit. If that option is just not an option for you, we can definitely update things. Just we can get a line of communication open between you, me, Roma, some other guys that are helping out.
Okay.
Anytime you see stuff like that, yeah, shoot me a message, and we'll get it taken care of.
And then you said every AO has a page on the Puget Sound webpage, and how does one get to that? Because I click on AOs and I get an error code.
So I don't know if it works on mobile yet, or if Roma's made a mobile version of each one, but
Okay. That would answer it. Okay.
you can on desktop right now, but I've had the same thing on mobile as well. For some reason, those haven't been pulling up. So I don't know. Might be a follow-up filter with Roma.
Okay.
You can look at that, but yeah, they're really useful. I love all the work he's done with the website.
Yeah,
I've just taken that, so that AO page, when I've got an FNG, I'll just go to the AO page, copy the link, text that to them, and then they have all the details they need of where to show up, what time, and just some basic information to prep them for the coming workout. So
yeah, I don't think he's gotten to every single AO yet. It errors out if you actually click on AO. You have to kind of make the mouse go down to the actual AO before you click. I noticed that as well. So it's, again, everybody's working for free. It's not a
No, I know. I appreciate, and I just pulled it up on my desktop over here, and it has all kinds of stuff that I didn't even know was there. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. And so also I'll put out anybody that has any skill or interest. I mean, we're always looking for people to help, even if it's with, your home AO webpage, right? If you're interested in it. So.
right on. Thank you. And thank you, Blaze, for all your work on Pax Finder. I think that's a great tool. It's going to give you a lot more information. It sounds like it's getting even better with your help. So thank you for doing that. It's making our jobs easier at SiteQ.
And if I can give a quick kudos to you, I travel a lot and I've hit a lot of downrange AOs, and I talk about the kind of stuff we have here. And these guys just look at me like I have three heads. It's like, wait, you guys do that stuff? You track that stuff? And it's like, yeah, because we got all these brilliant guys in Seattle, and they do this kind of stuff, and we know who showed up and the back blast and the PAX miners tracking who's there, and they're like, you can do that? It's all news to me, but I hope the nation catches on with this kind of stuff so they can see what's going on. So kudos to you, man.
Yep. All right, off to Handbag. Wanted to share some second F initiatives and how we can support those.
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Okay, good. I haven't figured out how to do virtual yet, apparently, after a year and a half. So sorry about the camera thing. So hopefully it works. I even wore my Baywatch shirt today because I was going to show it off. I got for my birthday.
I'm so disappointed.
I'll wear it.
You got to figure it out.
I even cut the sleeves off. No, so second F, kind of going where Glaze mentioned, and it was something that we had a meeting. So I'm stepping in for Hamzel today, just kind of be an advocate for him here. He made a team here for the second F to help support him and kind of get farther out and reach further. Coming back from the COVID, we have a lot of ideas. There's probably a lot of ideas out in the pack, so we just don't quite know yet. But really what we wanted to do is drive the importance of second F to the local level. There's tons of announcements. I think it can be probably even overwhelming at times when you hear this is going on, that's going on. And, there's a way to look that up. But we really depend on the SiteQs first to make sure people don't, aren't slipping through the cracks, or someone you haven't seen in a while, reach out to them, or find someone that could reach out to them, might be a little closer, that has that kind of that equity with that person. So that was something we spent a lot of time on thinking about. Instead of, we can plan events, we can do all that stuff, but really our focus was kind of at that smaller AO level. Because, for instance, I don't know everyone that goes to, speakeasy or this and that, and maybe there is a need that we just don't know there. So one thing, we identified as a group here, and for Hansel's team, he has Ernie, Tardy, Unit, and myself supporting him, is there's probably a need at each AO, at least some sort of, let's say, call it a pseudo, but even a real one, but kind of a second F, what we'll call it, support individual. So if there is someone there that can kind of work with the SiteQ or the SiteQ themselves to make sure that there aren't individuals maybe not showing up, or we understand why they're not showing up. That's the first and foremost. The second part is also being, an advocate for, events that we have, at a greater region. So that was something that we developed. We kind of defined a mission statement for the team. Unfortunately, I don't remember it, nor do I have it written down, but that was the gist of it, is the local level. We need to have sort of an identified, I wouldn't say we have to, but try to identify someone that might fill that role, and might be, kind of that, for instance, the next second F kind of leader in that situation. So that was kind of the main, let's say, our first meeting we had. That was our main focus. I do kind of want to go over some of the topics that we had. Is, I mentioned the localized second S effort. I jumped in with that, cafeteria. That's always something that's very easy and for anyone to digest and jump into without, much knowledge behind it. One important thing we talked about, and going off of what Glaze mentioned, is how do we use the data for our second S, to determine, who's slipping through, and you cover that pretty good. So there'll probably be a Tardy and the unit maybe reaching out to you, Glaze, there. Second one is, how do we get FNGs involved in second S? That's a question we didn't really quite answer, other than, hey, we have this event, kind of encouraging people to show out. But maybe there's something, maybe there's let's say Bellevue. I'm not that connected to Bellevue at all. Maybe there's something they feel that, hey, they don't jive with, or they wish they saw, or they don't see, or that maybe they want to do something totally different. That's something we just don't know. And that was one of our discussion points of trying to get a local second F individual identified at each site. The other one is, and I mentioned that a little bit earlier, is, a lot has happened over 16, 18 months here. How do we reach out? How do we find those people that are maybe in a little more need than maybe just your typical person? Kind of, you got to encourage to get off, the couch a little bit, who's a little more in a, someone needs a shield lock with them, someone needs to just kind of knock on their door type of attitude to try to bring them out that might be a little more in trouble, or, need some help and getting the right help. I guess there's been a few instances of that. I don't know them personally, but it seemed like something that we want to try to reach out to. For instance, we did talk about, the TAPS channel. Okay, that's a nice, simple way to kind of identify people that might be, in a situation, and, we want to help those out. But is there more people out there? And that's where we depend on our SiteQs too, or others, to also maybe, notify us or notify the people at the PACs, because those are probably the people that know them the most, or at their specific AO. So you can kind of see the gist of it was very local. So identify to mention the people that are helping. We have, let's say, 4, if I count them correctly, 4 major, let's say, divisions within the, call it connector brigade is what Hansel called it. The F&G and communication. For second F, Tardy and the unit are going to really focus on that, as well as using, data analysis maybe from Glaze's area. Myself, I'm going to be bringing, let's say, the families together. 2.0s is a very simple one, but also outside of that, the M's are significant others, family members, what type of events we can, do to kind of encompass that. Softball, your camp idea, awesome. I wish I could be there. I'm out of town that weekend, but that's a perfect example of everyone inclusive, not just maybe the men of the F3. And then also special events, the more traditional, seems like more beer drinking events. We got the poker tournament. That's always a fan favorite. We got the potentially a cornhole tournament, summer picnic, those types of events. So that's going to be broken up between Fanny and Hansel. And then communication and marketing. That's something that we said we know we need it. We don't know how to implement it, but Ernie does that for a living, so he's going to support that. So yeah, those are kind of, we'll call it our mission, our guiding principles for the second F team. Now getting into some of the maybe very specifics that we're going to be doing in the near term. We should have a Puget Sound, we'll call it the East Side now, but Puget Sound gear order coming out this week. So solicit that to your AOs. It should have been out last week, unfortunately. It just doesn't seem to be moving as fast as it should be. So that's a good one. We have the F3 picnic, friends and family and all that. Everyone welcome. That's scheduled for September 18th. We have a 2.0 workout planned, and that's going to be led by Silent B and his 2.0s, and that's 821. So check the channel for that. And there's actually a swimming component of it, just like kind of hanging out at their local pool there that they have in Totem Lake. So, or Kings Gate, sorry. So that's a really cool. Their Heister really changed the game of 2.0s here a couple weeks ago. So that's really awesome. It's really escalated quickly. So,
yeah, I'm glad no one got
then,
COVID though.
No, okay. So, and then the last one is the poker tournament. We're still nailing down the exact date, but that's planned for October. So we're getting there.
Nice.
So yeah, just overall, I just want to end it with, we all understand you guys are SiteQs for a reason. You guys have your eyes and ears on your local area as well as other areas adjacent there. We have a limited scope, on the team here. We need other eyes and ears to support us and direct us where we may think we need to go, but maybe it's not the right way. So you hear something, stupid thing, but say something to us, and we'll get it there. Or like F3 does always, is lead it yourself, and we'll support you in it as well. So no reason we can't. So yeah, that's what I got here. Appreciate it.
Right on. Thanks, Handbag.
You got it.
I really like the idea of like a second F type person at each site, because that takes more, all that list of stuff I just went through, responsibilities of a SiteQ, it's a lot, right? We're asking you guys to do a lot, and anything where we can get help in other areas and also give other men an opportunity to lead and be a part of the growth of this community is a good thing. So, all right, now on the most important topic of the meeting, but I'm going to keep it brief. So it is officially August 2nd, and that gives us 29 days until Iron Pack's competition starts. For anyone who was not here last year, who hasn't participated in Iron Packs before, I'll just give you a quick run through on this and how you can help support it. Tomorrow I'll be posting a more detailed message, just inviting everyone to come be a part of it. It's a pretty big deal. So every year in September, all regions in F3 Nation participate in a national competition called Iron Packs. And all it consists of is really just one boot camp workout per week. So that's just 4 boot camps in September. Anybody can do it. I've seen FNGs do it before. So there's really no reason that any man can't come be a part of this. Even if they're injured or on IR, we need all the support we can get with proctors. So proctors would be the Iron Packs equivalent of a queue for that day. Proctoring is encouraged, and that means the queue for that day is there to support the packs that are wanting to do this timed workout for Iron Packs by being the ones there prepared with setup, logistics of the workout, timing, and recording people's times. And that can really be done by anybody. So let's see. So there's individual and regional rankings. The winning region is the one with the highest participation percentage, and that's our goal, is to be the highest participating region in the nation. So that means you've registered, number one, as a PAX member, you've registered for Iron PAX. And by doing that, that's basically counts as your HC. Because anyone who registers that doesn't complete all 4 weeks and submit a score for all 4 weeks, even if it's a score of 2 hours, meaning they were on IR or they were there proctoring the workout that day, that counts too. That hurts the regional participation score. So think of asking guys to register as being their HC to complete the entire event. And we'll be keeping tabs too. We got Delpher here, did a great job last year, shaking some weasels out there and making sure that guys stuck to their word. So, but it really is a great competition. It changed me the first year I did. I looked at the workouts and thought, I don't think I can do that in any amount of time, let alone 45 minutes. So keep in mind that some of these workouts do go longer and guys are going to go at their own pace. So you may have cases where a workout is going to go over that 45 minute limit in some cases. So just keep that in mind. You may want to let PAX know ahead of time that may occur. So this month, Qs are going to be traveling around to various AOs and we'll be proctoring Iron PAX style workouts. And we're going around to just drum up HCs, as many as we can. And you as a SiteQ can help support that by asking how you can help with logistics, as some of the workouts are really more complex than others. And you need like specific measurements of 400 meters. If your site is not at a track, that needs to be measured out. And just any help in preparation of recording PAX times, that kind of stuff. So anyway, we were the #1 region in F3 Nation last year. So our goal is to defend that this year. My personal goal is to have 100 finishers in F3 Puget Sound this year. We had 67 last year, so it is well within reach. And it really is an awesome event that can help catapult men to that next level of acceleration in their lives. I know it did for me and has for others. So keep an eye out for that. Any quick questions there?
Yeah, softball, in terms of execution during the 4 weeks, is it decided who, like which AOs are going to host it each week, or how do we work through that?
No, that's all up to you as a SiteQ. If you want to run it that week, you can do it. I know that last year there were sites that there were a lot. We had a lot of sites doing it. So there were some cases where you had men coming on Friday who had already done that prescribed workout on Monday, and they wanted to do something else. So you can even appoint a queue that does a normal boot camp workout for those that either don't want to do Iron PAX or have already done it that week. But yeah, it's really up to the SiteQs. Obviously, sites with tracks that are measured out are going to probably be more likely to do it. It is harder to measure that out.
Softball, can I jump in here?
Yep, go ahead.
So I'm just going to mention that Tundra and the Gateway have worked out an arrangement where the Gateway is going to not do Iron PAX, and we're going to send anybody that wants to do Iron PAX to Tundra because it's got the all-weather field and all that kind of thing. And so the Gateway is going to turn into, like you mentioned, the alternative. If you've already done the Iron PAX, but you want to work out later in the week, you can come to the Gateway, and that's the arrangement that we've made there. Matter of fact, I'm going to shake some weasels, and if you show up and you haven't done Iron PAX and you don't have any real reason not to, then I'm going to kick you up to Tundra.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, no, and I think that's
For
great
you too,
on the,
Tundra too.
I think that's great on the east side. Well, I'll work with trying to coordinate those of us on the west side to figure out how. So knowing we've got one a week, we can't necessarily say, hey, today this site will be Iron PAX, that site won't. We'll figure out a way to make sure that we've got a couple options during the week, whether that rotates or not. But I'll push that one.
the other option mail order, we did this at Bloodsport last year, is we picked a day off from our regular workout day, and we would do it on a Friday or a Saturday morning or something like that. And one of them, I remember because we don't have a track, I measured and spray painted on the trail, where the distances were that you needed to be, so guys could come and do it solo if they needed to as well. And then we chose a couple of them that we did as our AO, and we just decided that as a group, but off days work is a good alternative.
Yeah, and I think that's a great thought. I was already thinking, I think there should almost be a makeup Sunday sort of plan in place to make sure people can get everything in each week or something, knowing again, we've got limited sites necessarily on the west side, but I'll connect everybody. I know we've got our channel.
There was last year, we had several makeup Sundays where, the end of the week comes and you didn't get it in for whatever reason. And there were often several of us that would get together on Sunday. It's much, much better to do it with at least one other person. It's really hard to do it by yourself. Yeah. All of them are really, really hard to do by yourself. And I think that's kind of the point.
And, we got a special dispensation last year to make up because of the fires and the smoke and that kind of thing. And I want to be careful not to try to rely on that this year. The organizers may not allow that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
They also did say last year that they didn't include pull-ups because I reached out to them and say, hey, all of our playgrounds, all of our public facilities and things, we're being told by our local government to not use those, and we don't want to put on a bad, so after we have a bad face in the community. So I said, hey, we like pull-ups, but we literally can't do them here on a large scale. And even now, that's going to be hard with us being able to use the few AOs that have a couple of areas to pull up. So just keep that in mind. I think it'll be a logistical challenge this year that we didn't have last year. So
by we like pull-ups, I think you meant you, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, who doesn't like pull-ups? Yeah.
Softball, one other question. Are we, for the sake of doing this, are we going to drive people towards the Iron Packs channel into September, or is that kind of the early chatter and then it kind of pushes out wider to more first staff, channel like AO specific stuff as we get into September?
It'll start in first step, so I'm going to post a message tomorrow inviting anyone who wants to participate into the discussion Iron Packs channel. We'll keep most of the chatter in there just so we're not polluting first up with all Iron Packs, so, but yeah, there will be snippets out there.
Okay.
Anyway, and I forgot to mention, you're going to see guys probably showing up in the next month here. I've asked anyone who finished the competition last year to start bringing their customized cinder blocks to workouts, whether it's a cinder block workout or not, just as a little teaser for guys who want to finish it this year, to say, hey, come do Iron Packs. That should pretty much sell itself. You bring your customized block and say, hey, you finish Iron Packs, you get a customized center block like this one here, except it's got your F3 name on it and it's just a custom design on it. So all right, I know we only have 10 minutes here, so Silo, do you want to take
Yep, I'll go quick. Got 3 items. First one is proximate SiteQ meetings. I know we love getting on Zoom all the time, so we're going to probably stop doing this as much. Maybe here and there when it's convenient and we can get a lot of people like this. But the proximate SiteQ meetings are going to be kind of broken up into regional areas and have a workout and meeting all in one morning. So that will be coming up in the fall, like we said, October, November timeframe after we get past Iron Packs. And that's pretty much the gist of that. There'll be more information coming up after this couple months. Next was Q School. So there's the first F shared leadership team with softball being the Q of that, and then myself with expansion, Moose Jaw with virtual, and Pogo with rucking. All 4 of us are ready and willing to do Q School if you request it. So if if there is appetite for that, reach out to us and we can plan something out. It's a good way to get F&Gs kind of a taste of what's to come, what's expected of them when they lead their workouts. It's also a good refresher if maybe someone hasn't queued for a while. So all those items will be covered in a Q school. So again, if you're interested, reach out. And the last one I have is expansion. Got 2 AOs launching soon. First one is next Monday at Robbinswood in Bellevue, 5:30 a.m. on Mondays. And Brady, I'm sorry, I forgot the date of Gateway, but I believe it was in September.
Still not certain exactly when we're going to launch officially. We've had good numbers. Basically every week we've had a fairly good workout, but there's just been constant churn. So it's not the same faces all the time. Until I have a base, I really don't want to launch prematurely. So we're kind of looking for that. Yeah, it might be September, but with Iron Packs, that kind of messes things up. So honestly, I'm not certain yet. I don't want to go too long, but like I said, we don't have a real core yet that is committed to staying there.
Got it. Okay, so that's to come. I also mentioned that, or the Robbinswood, I think Spotlight is going to be the SiteQ, and I believe Brady will be SiteQ for Gateway. Both of you guys have led AOs, so when I talked to Spotlight last Monday, my main point was to identify someone as a backup SiteQ pretty much immediately so that they can make that their own AO and start just growing it from there after the Redwood period area. Let's see, so got those 2 points. Let's see, oh, if you have packs with an idea for an AO, maybe people are moving somewhere, like Maytag just moved up to Mukilteo, so maybe we'll start supporting him and see if we can find some more people in the region and help build that out. If you have anyone else with ideas to say you want an AO at some location, let us know. But we also don't want to just start popping up workouts everywhere and having like 1 or 2 people showing up and then launching AOs and then having them fail. So like Brady said, build up that core group of people and build it out. So again, if you have an idea for an AO or you have some momentum behind starting a new place, reach out and we'll support you. On the flip side of that, we have, if you've read Free to Lead, there's the concept of diminishing returns to fellowship. So you get a problematic workout, say like more than 15 people, and if someone's having a tough day or whatever, they might not feel comfortable bringing it up in front of a large group of people, or a problem in their life they might have, just not that comfort level of bringing it up. So what we want to do is, if you're having a really large workout and maybe it's occurring, say, weeks or months, kind of like Woodinville was on Thursday, there was a split and maybe it's not as comfortable at first because those are, some of your best friends, maybe some people you've got to know really well. But there's a point to all of this, of the mission, plant, grow, serve, small men's workouts for the invigoration of male community leadership. So if we keep that in mind, it's really growth by division, as we've seen with Seattle and the Puget Sound split. So if you have an idea, maybe you're having larger workouts, I could use maybe Sasquatch as an example, a lot of turnout, but at maybe some point we might have to think about splitting it off. So just we'll keep that in mind. And the role of SiteQ, find that man who can lead a new AO. If you see someone with potential, maybe start planting the seed in conversations with them and maybe lead them in that direction. And I think that is all I had. So yeah, if you have any expansion questions, reach out to me and I'll help you out as best I can.
Right on, thanks, Otto. All right, last few things we wanted to go over was just some action items from you guys as SiteQs. I know we've gone over a lot here already, and like I said, I'll share the agenda of things we've talked about here tonight. as well as this is being recorded, so we'll send the recording to, and just encourage you to re-review that if you need a refresher, either one of those, and of course reach out to either someone who's been a SiteQ before who passed the flag to you, or anyone on this call as well. Myself, Philo, Lucia, Pogo, we're kind of the combined first step shared leadership team for the next year or so. So please reach out if there's anything we can do to help you guys. So first action item is, I'm not sure if this has been done fully yet, but just wanted to mention it here. Dilfer posted this, I don't know, about a month ago. Just to make sure that you confirm your site's location details on the F3 Nation map. I'll post that link here. Just make sure that everything looks good to you there. If not, let him know if it does, let him know. If it doesn't, let Dilfer know if anything's missing or wrong or needs to be changed, and he can get in touch with it.
Yeah, just real quick, you can go to f3nation.com and go to the map, and there's actually a link there to if you want to have any corrections or change anything. And I highly recommend, like if you're in a big location, to have coordinates exactly where you meet. So like at Grasslawn, there's 2 parking lots, for example, you know, posting the exact coordinates. You can find that on Google Maps. You can just find a pen, get the coordinates.
All right. Thanks, Dilfer. And then the second one would be, so that's the F3 Nation map. Then we also want to make sure that our website is giving the right information to people as well. So just make sure you, at some point, go to F3 Puget Sound. I think it's under, under AOs. There's F3 Puget Sound in Seattle. Make sure your AO is listed there. Number 1, I think we probably have all of them at this point. Roma's done a great job with this, but main things you want are your AO name is there, the address, day of the week, time, workout type, cafeteria location and address, a map of the meeting location, and then a short description of what to expect. If your workout is a boot camp, or if it's just a run, or tons of speed, if it's all running focus, you know, just throw that in there. So I don't know if you guys also saw, but Ernie put out a great video in June about how to sign up for a queue, just a quick, easy way. If you save that item in Slack, it will save it under your saved items. I can't see it on the desktop because I think we're on a free version, and it once you go over that, it shows it as deleted, but on mobile it's still there. So if you ever need that as a SiteQ, something good to share periodically with your packs is, hey, this is how you sign up for a queue on F3 Puget Sound, just as a basic introductory exhortation for men to go sign up on their own by just following that that quick tutorial. I think it's like a 10 or 15-second video. And lastly, I wanted to encourage everyone here to consider getting involved in an existing QSource shield doc. So if you guys don't know what QSource is yet, it's a book, really good one that's being blanked out here, but it's the F3 Manual of Virtuous Leadership, really great for SiteQs and non-SiteQs to have. We have 3 existing ones that you're welcome to join, or if you're interested to start a new one at your AO or at a new AO, that's certainly something that we can figure out too. So quite honestly, I think it's an essential part of your leadership acceleration. It has been for me. There's a lot of great information there on virtuous leadership that's really going to help you as a SiteQ, not just as a SiteQ, but just as a man in general as well, as a human being even. So there's 3 existing QSource groups, and they meet weekly and discuss a chapter or 2 of the book at a time. First one is Counterbalance. That's on Wednesday evenings in Queen Anne. The Doom guys on Saturday, they meet an hour before the boot camp at 7, so they meet at 6 and just go on a ruck and discuss a chapter or two. And then last one is a virtual, so AO the Matrix, 5:30 to 6:30 on Thursday mornings. All right, and last but not least, we've already talked about this a couple of times, and we'll follow up with this on the fall, just to make sure that you've got a backup SiteQ identified. And let us know who that is, so we can get that documented on the list of workouts for the region, so we know who to contact if there's any information we need to share broadly. So that is pretty much it, guys. I know that's a lot. Again, want to thank you for taking an hour out of your evening tonight. I'll share the agenda, and I think Moose Joe's got the recording, so we'll send that out. Any quick questions that you guys might have? We can go over those too.
Softball, knowing that we start on time and we end on time, we could, if you don't have any questions and you really want to go, you know, we can excuse you. I know that, but if you do have questions, we can hang up. So yeah, I just want to give people permission if you got family and other things you got to get done.
Right on. Yeah, sorry we went a little over.
Grissom, you're garbled.
Yeah, your audio is not coming through.
Yeah, your sound is not making it to me.
Not making anybody.
No.
And I was gone.
Sorry, Grissom.
They're probably calling back.
Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah, so feel free to drop off if you need to. Otherwise, stick around if you have any questions or anything else you want to share. Thanks for being here.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Hey, softball.
Yeah. What's that?
Is the Q source at Doom? Do you have to attend every Saturday, or is it you can drop in?
No, just as you can. So it's not like a 52-week commitment. Yeah, just as you can.
Same with the virtual one, you know, call in, join in, do the best you can.
And
Grissom, you back?
The one at Doom is Silo and Grissom both do as well. So
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know how many people dropped off, but I was going to say Blue Steel's heading up the third F and has a small committee as well. Falcon, Foley, Speedo, and myself. And some of what Handbag said for second F, we're doing as well. So communication network, particularly if somebody's having, needing some thoughts and prayers and stuff like that. So if you're out on the site and you know of anybody that's gone through some hard times, needs some support, the third F is there to help as well. So you can get in touch with any one of us and we'll try to get involved as well. And then softball, you said one thing. Are you still on softball?
Yeah.
You said one thing about the cell phones and being safe on site. I guess I want to add that the SiteQs try to step up and be more aware about safety at the site, particularly when you're crossing streets and especially when it's dark and rainy, so over the winter, all the weekday mornings, it's going to be dark and wet and it's tough to see everybody, but somebody's got to be watching crosswalks and things, particularly when we're strung out, 50 feet or 100 feet or whatever. So if the SiteQs can keep more of an eye on that, I think that'd be great.
I want to add on top of that, I think out here, it's a little different from what I'm used to. I think I've seen lightning twice in the year that I've moved out here. But I know there's something put out in the Nation Slack the other day, which I hadn't really thought about, and I feel guilty that I hadn't. But what do we have in terms of any official, unofficial guidance in relation to severe weather? And I know, again, severe weather is not frequent. I lived in Tornado Alley for a while, lived in North Carolina with beautiful thunderstorms, but is that kind of hey, it's so minimal we haven't talked about it, or is that something that there's kind of some unsaid guidelines in place right now?
Well, I'll say this. So the first year of Extreme Week was during that Snowmageddon in 2018. You may have not been here. I'm not sure. Were you here in 2018? Okay, so we had crazy amount of snow that week. I was not in F3 yet, but I heard later that that was the first week of Extreme Week. Workout still happens, so yeah. I mean, we're
But
pretty
then
mild.
in 2019, we did close some locations in that snowstorm. So I think there's sort of an unofficial, official, like when you are, like at least the way I say it, if you're going to be unsafe going to the workout,
yeah,
then, please be wise. And then, if you can walk there or something like that. And so I think it's sort of you as a SiteQ can actually lead that going, you want to get people on your channel and checking in before some of these weather events. And if maybe far enough in advance, you can give them, hey, check out the channel, or you have text for it, guys. So in that sense, I encourage you to lead, and then it'll be adaptive. If there is something crazy that happens, which in the last year in September we had smoke, I think we advised all the AOs close, and that so
yeah.
I think we are going to adjust.
I'd say there was a time at Sasquatch we were working out and there was lightning, and we moved to a covered location that was at a school, but that was like pretty specific to that AO. I'm thinking like at Valhalla, there's like nothing covered.
Right,
It's
and that's kind of the thought is.
So
like
maybe
I said, I think, I think where we are, a lot of the severe weather to be worried about, you kind of know is happening ahead of time. Smoke, snow, and you can discuss it. We don't get the lightning out here, but it was at least started to prompt the thought of like, hey, what do we have kind of as a group to be able to fall back on and say, hey, this is, once we hit this threshold, it is not that it isn't always, but it's, work out at your own risk. This is an unofficial, this is not even F3 affiliated anymore kind of thing. Just in terms of just being safe and coverage there. But I think for the most part, it's a bigger concern in places like North Carolina, Oklahoma, where the severe weather is more life threatening than, hey, be smart if you're going to try to, snow ski over to your AO.
Severe is definitely relative depending on where you are, right?
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I'll tell you though, if you can get to the AOs safely, some of the most fun workouts I've ever had were in severe weather. I mean, that's when you really bond with other guys. So like if you can get to the AO and there's 2 feet of snow, oh my gosh, you can do so much stuff. It's just like you're a kid.
Yeah.
Or if it's in the rain.
Yeah, my VQ was at 10 degrees Fahrenheit here during that extreme week. Nobody else showed up but me and Sherpa. That was crazy.
45-minute snowball fight. Yeah, no, I'd say for lightning, it's like, I mean, it's as much as it sucks if you just got there and you're working out, but sometimes, I mean, what we say is like, don't compromise your next workout. Someone's going to get struck.
I think as the first F shared leadership, we should talk about that. And the way I think about it is that we should at least post something in the SiteQ channel to say, hey, like you as SiteQs, you're endorsed to make the the right decision with some principles, right? And I think what you're saying, Silo, is righteous. It's like, don't jeopardize your next workout. We don't want anybody more injured when they leave our workout than when they started with.
Yeah, I mean, as much as it sucks if you just started working out and it's 5:45 in the morning and you're angry that you're not going to work out, it's like better than the alternative, possibly. I don't know. As
And-
one workout, you can go later in the day. Lightning storms don't last long here, I guess. I don't know, but there's a whole bunch of, it's just judgment calls essentially.
And there always is if we run into that situation, there's always the backup of a virtual workout, which you can do out of your, guys can always plug into that as needed if they don't feel safe going, or you as SiteQ make the call and say, hey, we're not doing it this week. Go to virtual boot camp instead if you need to work out and some fellowship, and we'll be back next week, or depending on the situation. So we'll just have to take it as it comes.
Extended cafeteria works as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I'm out, guys. Have a good night.
All right, thanks, Tyler.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool. And Grissom, the one thing that and Dilfer that I thought about is that almost on a regular cadence, we could be posting in the SiteQ who's on a leadership, who's first F, who's second F, who's third F, because it's so easy to miss that stuff, maybe every 6 weeks, just as a reminder, hey, these are the guys who can help you on third. I maybe that was an idea as I thought about the second F guy. So like, I knew Hansel, but I had forgotten his leadership team. And one of the things I've learned in the pandemic is that it doesn't hurt to repeat yourself on some frequency, not every minute, but
Yeah, that's a good idea. Post it every once in a while so we all remember. And
right, yeah.
the big thing Handbag was saying for second F and the same thing for third F is we all have to sort of communicate and network with each other when we know somebody needs help. And then if one of us knows that person extremely well, make sure that person is knowledgeable and can reach out. Good stuff. Post it.
Awesome.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Softwell.
Moose Jaw, you'll have the recording.
Yeah, I'll hit when we close this off, I'll record it and then get it on the internet.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.